Chapter 144 is finally here, and it's pretty different from the past few battle-heavy chapters. It's much slower, more dialogue-heavy, and best of all, focuses a lot more on Serie. This chapter itself begins with Zenza watching the magic special forces, and pointing out how they still haven't made a move. Serie just calls them cowards for acting so cautiously, yet Zenza states that their cowardice is what makes them so terrifying. We learn that Zenza actually fought them before, leading to 3 first-class mages dying in that encounter, which is wild, and it doesn't seem like any MSF died in that fight either. Serie presumes their caution is due to Frieren's orders and wishes they had more time to confirm, leading to Zenza wondering if Serie will be able to get an audience with the Emperor. Of course, Serie is certain the Emperor will come by no matter what, as he too should also understand the importance of keeping up appearances. He'll probably bring an even larger group of servants with him too. Hearing that, Zenza wonders if Serie has met the Emperor before. Interestingly, she says that it happened once, in a precognitive dream, and that she has no intention of telling Zenza the details. Serie had taken a gamble even showing up, and no matter whether they win or lose, she knows Zenza will blame her for what happens. Then we actually get a look at the dream Serie had mentioned. The Emperor is walking alone at night when someone asks if he's unable to sleep. He's stunned that someone is actually there and questions how Frieren could allow an intruder to slip by. This intruder is none other than Serie, who just watches him. Someone entertained, it seems. Apparently, this takes place the day before the ball, and the Emperor figures they can just chat there. However, Serie states that she doesn't have much time left, so they need to talk now. The Emperor requests they walk as they talk, as he has something on his mind. As long as their discussion isn't interrupted, Serie is okay with that. The Emperor is okay with that too, but can't be certain Frieren will allow it. Serie just states Frieren won't interfere, leading to the Emperor believing Serie killed her already. The Emperor holds Frieren in such high regard that he believes that her death must have even had value in buying time, which Serie confirms. It supposedly took every bit of her strength just to get an audience with the Emperor. She says it was a truly engaging fight, even though it's unlikely a fight ever happened in the dream world. Besides, it wouldn't even matter if Frieren in this dream world overheard them. This leads to the Emperor realizing he's actually in a dream. He had actually led Serie to a magic object that allows him to discern whether or not he's in a dream. If in a dream, the color of the flame changes, then a black flame means that this isn't his dream, it's Serie's dream, and Serie confirms that he's merely a character in her dream. Looking at the magical item, Serie realizes that it actually used to belong to Flamma long ago. The Emperor figures this type of precognitive magic is from the mythical era, and is surprised that it even exists. Funny enough, Serie doesn't think it's a big deal, and just allows him to think of this as foresight. He questions if this event will actually occur in the future then, but to Serie, this is just one of many possible paths she could have taken. Unfortunately, it didn't turn out as she had hoped. The Emperor wants to know what happens in the future, but Serie questions why is that even important to him. So the Emperor explains that he knows about the assassination attempt on Serie outside of his control, and actually believes that her death wouldn't be an ideal outcome. As someone who doesn't believe things last forever, for the sake of the Empire's peaceful fall, the Emperor wishes to prevent Serie's death. He suggests they discuss matters here in the dream, as it should be mutually beneficial by stopping the assassination and benefiting the Empire in reality. However, Serie questions why he needs to know any information. In fact, in this dream, he should be the one sharing info to her. The Emperor tries to explain himself, but Serie calls him out for attempting to bring back intel as well. She actually smirks at his attempt to swindle her, and knows he's actually conscious. Their dreams are connected now. It turns out his body is imbued with a mental defense developed by Imperial magic. It's the culmination of the Empire's magical techniques. The principles of this magic have already gone far beyond the realm of comprehension for even him, the user. Chances are, this situation is a defense mechanism for the Emperor. If the Emperor in this dream world were to leak info without the real host's knowledge, it could influence the Empire's existence. In this case, this version of the Emperor exists to choose what info can and cannot be shared. Serie finds it interesting that the Emperor just confessed everything so honestly. That's because he still is the Emperor of the Empire, and he knows if this discussion were to break down, it could lead to the collapse of the Empire. Hearing that is enough for Serie to accept the offer to exchange intel. The Emperor is surprised by the sudden change, but it's because Serie can now tell the Emperor believes the assassination attempt will fail. That's why he's playing so safe and negotiating like this. This kind of thinking wouldn't be from someone who's taken part in the assassination plot, which pretty much confirms the Emperor is not involved. With that said, the Emperor asks once more, what will happen in the future? Unfortunately, Serie has no idea because she'll be dead before she can find out. Then we get a brutal imagery of her head being sliced off as she explains that she hasn't been able to figure out how she dies and who did it. However, being able to actually gain an audience with the Emperor like this has been a stroke of good luck. Out in the real world, it would be nearly impossible to speak freely with the Emperor without any interruption. Now this gives Serie the opportunity to make plans for what will happen after her death. Whatever Serie chooses to do, she knows her apprentices would reject any plans based on the assumption that she's gonna die. Now finally, they can hold a constructive conversation. This won't be a bad deal for the Emperor either, as they can now pursue their mutual interest for both the Empire and Mage Association together. That's where the chapter ends, and it really seems like Serie is preparing for her death. Insane death flags, but I also think it could be setting up the twist that she won't die. Frieren and the others might be able to show Serie a future she couldn't visualize herself. That's why she gathered this specific group of mages that are beyond her imagination. She had once told Zenza that she had been longing to see something more than she can imagine, a future that she can't reach, but maybe they can. That line can mean two things: a future where they save her and she manages to live on, or a future that is intertwined with the deal she makes with the Emperor, a plan that will benefit both sides, and likely the continued use of magic itself, even after her death. Unlike Commander Lo, who wishes to erase magic, both the Mage Association and the Empire support the continued use of magic. Even Fraser herself wishes for everyone to be able to use magic one day. Serie knows her apprentices like Zenza will always go against a plan that involves her death. Every mage there with her, including Frieren, would probably do the same, and that's exactly why she brought them all together. But yeah, after seeing how Serie herself is already planning for her death, do you think it will actually happen? Or do you think the mages will be able to show Serie the future she wasn't able to see herself? Let me know in the comments, and as always, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please drop a like and subscribe. I got some more Frieren content here too that you can check out. Peace.